friends, it's Maddie. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about my most disappointing books from 2020. I have 6 here, and I'm also going to talk about my DNFs in this video because I think it's disappointing to DNF a book. So let's just quickly talk about my DNFs. I don't have a ton to say. I DNF'd The Night Swim by Megan Golden. I talked about this multiple times, but I just didn't believe the character of Rachel to be who they claimed her to be. You know, like this all-star podcaster who, for some reason, is also following these anonymous letters by some person that could or could not be a murderer, just saying. I also DNF'd Conceal Don't Feel by Jen Kalanita. This is one of those Disney adjacent type books, and I just really didn't enjoy it. I don't know if this is what they all are like, but I just felt like it was basically Frozen. Like, it was slightly different. Like, I just don't think they changed enough in this to warrant a new book for a story. And then I also DNF'd Educated by Tara Westover. This one was sad, but I couldn't personally deal with reading while I was listening to the abuse in this book. I just didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want to read about it anymore. It was really just upsetting to me, but not in a way that I could handle. So I just stopped reading it. I'm sure it's great if you can handle it. I highly recommend you read it. It just wasn't for me. And then finally, I've decided I'm not continuing in the Sookie Stackhouse series. I watched Shauna's videos about the series because she had spoken about them being problematic before, and then I watched those videos and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna waste my time on like a racist, homophobic type series. So I am just looking for bigger and better things in paranormal romance. Thank you. If you have paranormal romance recommendations, I'll take them. I was liking how Sookie was going. I like the elements of it, but I don't want to deal with the racism personally. So those are my DNFs. I'm just gonna talk about my 6 most disappointing. They're not in any particular order. I didn't really know how to rank them. Level of disappointment, star rating, I don't know. So I just put them in here. The first one is gonna be Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. I had never read anything by her, but I had seen the movie for Girl on the Train and I thought it was interesting enough. Of course it uses the alcoholic woman trope, which I don't love, but I thought that the story was interesting. Again, I had seen that, oh, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it came out. So yeah, I went into this one with no well, kind of high expectations. I thought it was going to be a good thriller because I heard her name like a ton. And number one, this book has way too many perspectives. I literally did not, Otis, stop. You can't have candy. I literally could not keep characters straight in this. Actually, I think there is a list at the beginning of this book trying to keep all these characters straight, and I just did not feel like they were all needed perspectives. I didn't have a problem with there being that many characters, but you're seeing this story from like 7 or 8 different perspectives, and it was completely unnecessary. Like, in order to tell someone's story or what someone did, you don't have to go to that character's perspective. Another character could tell us by way of speaking to that character or something what happened, and I just felt like it was way too many. And then the ending, the reveal, was just not for me. So I think I gave that one like 2 stars, something like that. Then Dead to Her by Sarah Pinborough. Oh my gosh, so disappointing. I loved Behind Her Eyes. It's weird. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I kind of liked the paranormal, supernatural ending that it had. But Dead to Her is supposed to be about this young Black woman who marries this older white man, and then she has a relationship with like a waspy woman because the old white man is very waspy, so it's like that kind of thing. Well, this book wasn't a thriller. Like, I don't even think anybody died for like a good chunk of it. I can't even remember. I just remember being incredibly disappointed because it was more like romance, but like not well done. And then there was like some voodoo elements that I didn't necessarily know. Like, I can't personally speak on if it was, you know, proper representation for voodoo. I don't think Sarah Pinborough practices voodoo or anything like that. So I just think that it was very uncomfortable to be in there, and it just wasn't a good story. I just didn't care. I didn't care. It was about people cheating on each other more than anything. Otis. Oh, next on my list is going to be Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I went into this with really high expectations. Emily from Books with Emily Fox really likes this book and this author. And I had read one of his Wayward Pines books before. I read the first one. I really enjoyed it. And so the premise of this sounded really interesting. But like once I got into it, I was pretty underwhelmed. I did not... This book was way more about family than it was about any of the science, which is what I cared about. I did not necessarily care about this man and his family. I'm hoping to read Recursion this in 2021, and hopefully it will be better. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed and underwhelmed by that one. Then we have The Other People by CJ Tudor. I had previously read, oh, that's interesting. 3 of these were authors I had previously read from. That's interesting. I previously read The Chalkman by CJ Tudor, really liked it. I really liked the twist, the very last twist. I thought that it held my attention really well. It had It vibes without being too derivative. And The Other People sounded interesting because this man is basically driving on the freeway, or whatever you call it in the UK, and he sees his daughter who had gone missing before, and he's been looking for her for like ever, and he thinks he sees her in the back of this car, and it like turns into this whole thing, and it didn't hold my interest. I didn't care. The reveal was very strange. I thought it was way too long. Yeah, I just didn't, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on CJ Tudor. Like, I'm gonna give her another chance, but I'm just like really disappointed because I spent money on that. I bought it, I pre-ordered it, so I wasn't really stoked about it being so disappointing to me. So, yeah, again, I think this year was just the year of disappointing thrillers, books being called thrillers that shouldn't have been. It sucks. Next is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I wanted this to be amazing. It's a mystery. It takes place on an isolated island. You can only get there by boat. Somebody's gonna die. Like, yes, please. I wanted that to work. And it sounds like an amazing premise with the way that it was written. I did not enjoy, again, like multiple perspectives, which is fine. But number one, I found it really unbelievable with all of the different connections that are made at the end. Like, I just was like everything worked out in a particular way, which I guess it could happen, but I just didn't buy it. And then the way the mystery played out, like, you aren't investigating the mystery, so to speak, until like 80% of the way through the book. Like, the rest of it is just like getting to know these incredibly douchey characters and having to spend time with these people. And there was no like relief from that in the form of like, oh, suddenly now we're all working together to figure out what happened, because this dealt in disjointed timelines. Like, it kept going back and forth within this like weekend or day or whatever. It didn't work for me. I have one other Lucy Foley book, The Hunting Party. I already have it, so I'll try it, but if I don't like that, she just might not be for me. Finally, the last one on my list here is The Ritual by Adam Neville. I read this book because it gets recommended very frequently to me, and I really enjoyed the first half of this. You're following this group of 4 men who are on this like backpacking trip. Like, I think they were like friends in college or something, and they're like getting together. They're all gonna go on this backpacking trip. It's like this huge deal. And they think something is following them, and crazy stuff starts happening. They see these like weird things hanging from like trees and stuff. They're like effigies almost, or I don't know if that's the right word, but they're like skulls and skeletons and things like that. And it's really creepy. And then the second half of this really killed it for me. I did not like where the story went. I wish that it would have been more of like, I don't know. I didn't like the explanation for what was happening. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to tell you specifically what I didn't like, but I really was bummed. And I want to know if you have read anything by Adam Neville. If I didn't like this, will I enjoy his other stuff? Should I give it a go? Let me know, please. So yeah, that is the most disappointing books I read in 2020. I wasn't as disappointed this year, I guess. You know, 6 isn't terrible. 6 plus 3 DNFs. It's not terrible, but yeah. I get to talk about, next I'm filming the happy one, where I get to talk about books I liked and books that surprised me, and I'm way more excited to talk about those. And yeah, please let me know, what was your most disappointing book this year, or why? Did you like, what did you think of the books that I talked about? Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe down below to see more from the 12 Days of Bookmas and more from me in general in the new year. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.